So first of all, I would like to pay my respect for all of our lecturers, and my name is Borani. Here is the topic for my final presentation assignment is Age of Enlightenment in 20th century, and here is my content. Objectives, abstract, introduction, definition, main point, conclusion, and alongside short video, quote and reference. So now let's move to the objective. So three objectives for this presentation. First, briefly describe the overall view of the Enlightenment period in 19th century. The second, discuss the idea of the Enlightenment period in 19th century. And the last one is important of the Enlightenment period in 19th century. So for the abstract, I will describe and include the brief history where the Enlightenment period began, the definition, situation, impact, and the most importantly, the negative and positive side of the whole period. So, introduction, Enlightenment period, it could be called the rising of age of reason. And according to Michael A. Peter in 2019, commonly divided into three main periods: early Enlightenment period, the high Enlightenment period, and the late Enlightenment period. Originality of Enlightenment period was developed in the UK, British society, but it also the Enlightenment period took place in a common country in Europe region, and it's particularly create the culture change and achieve high impact. According to Mr. William Briston in 2010, he briefly described the overall view of the Enlightenment period. You're talking about the philosophy. The heart of the 18th century Enlightenment is loosely organized activity in prominent French thinker of the mid-decade of the 18th century, so called a philosophy. It seems like, in this kind of thing, the rising of the philosophy, the rising of the idea of the thinking on the analyzing, creating new kind of concept of the perception. And here is the definition of the term. According to Oxford Dictionary, enlightenment referring to action of enlightening or the state becoming enlightened. Enlightened, which means bright. So, which means like the state becoming bright. It becoming bright by the knowledge, by the new concept of idea has been rising. And the age of enlightenment could be fully found as the philosophical movement that dominated the world idea in Europe in 18th century. And it advocates an idea like liberty, progress, tolerance, fraternity, constitutional government, and the separate of the church and the state. So now let's move to the main point. The main point here in 85, the changeable perception of the state and the social construction was conducted again in terms of effectively and efficiency, controlled the country based on the reason of their priority. So first is the core point is political modernism. It seems like the evolution of the creation of the two different ideas, liberalism and democratic. These two ideas is quite similar by these two words is referring to the freedom and equality, but democratic is more efficiency and more effectively because democratic it seems to be balancing between the controllable and management of the state and the quality and right of the citizen. It seems like is balancing in terms of the power of the state and the right of the citizen. While liberalism is more focusing on the right and the interest of the citizen rather than the whole interested of the state. So it seems like liberalism is a little bit aggressive and it's not involving much of the state activity. And the second is constitutional law was created and inspired English Enlightenment period. So the court system was conducted in the new term of the perception. Executive, legislative, and judicial branch of the government. It seems like the state power was conducted literally in terms of building the state in terms of the power separating and balancing. So literally none of these three power with overpower over overpower into another powers by you code balancing into the separately. And as third is the benefit so the scientists became the leading role in the idea advanced and progress. So before enlightenment period, superstition became being more the most particular way in terms of in daily life in the society of the British and in another region in the European Union. But after the scientists become, the experiment was applied in order to gain the belief and it's improved about the light condition. And the scientists, including Copernicus, Bayer, Calios and Spotlighter, Newton Principle Mathematics, Micrographic by Robert Hill, Imperial Chamber, Cyclopedia, and other scientists that would bring out the important and the benefits of the scientists into the society. So in age of reason or the enlightenment period, it one shoot of the evolution that was naturally change the whole perception of the superstition and separated power rising of the right, and particularly is based on the reason human being has improved the life condition it better. And now let's move to conclusion. According to Bull 2008, he said that enlightenment has been the raciness, the short of the handphone histories and conversative writer has claimed that 17th and 18th century intellectual movement are the response of the nationalism and its sneak prejudice on the right and relativist identity political on the race. So beside the positive way or importance of the enlightenment period, there is not much about the idea of the negative affected to the society. But it seemed like Mr. Bull in 2008 raised some idea about this. It seemed like the life, the political on the left, it seemed like the chaos and the post-modernism has been found in the society, but none of the scientist has been described the situation well in the society, that they only posted about the positive side of the enlightenment period. And the most importantly, one author has been criticized the enlightenment period, that it's just focusing on the evolution began in a positive way, but literally it was just a mass and accused change in the whole society. And some has claimed that the most enlightenment age is not giving a detailed analysis about the consequence. When there is much evolution of an idea in the same way, what is going to be affected into the society. That would be another should affected into the previous idea before when the evolution has been begun to start. And so actually in 19th century emerging on the enlightenment affected positively and negatively toward society in the past and present. Seems like the positive has been used in the modern society, as if we back into the political modernization of the democratic style was developed and impacted the political shape in the USA, and it became the official leadership style. And most importantly, the core system of the constitutional law, including the separation and the balancing power, it also used it and applied it in the US society. And some of the scientists' experiment on benefit soul has been using from there until now, according to the scientists' experiment. So overall, even though there is non-clear information of consequent or negative impact, much of the evolution of idea in enlightenment period or age of reason, we thought that it could be considered as one of the most significant evolution in terms of the fulfill the truth to reasoning, that is none of the overpower anymore into the state of citizen. So I got a short video that will describe about the overall view of the Enlightenment period. So let's get it.
The Enlightenment, also known as the Age of Reason, is the name given to an important period in the history of Western civilization that followed the Renaissance. The Enlightenment occurred roughly from the mid-1600s up through the end of the 1700s, and was a time when human ability to reason was glorified. The word enlightenment means time of illumination. The era was given this name because it was a time when an influential group of scholars, writers, artists, and scientists actively sought to use the clear light of reason, that is, rational thought, to rid the world of superstition and ignorance. As a result of their efforts, tremendous improvements in the understanding of mathematics and science occurred, and bold new ideas regarding basic human rights and democracy were developed that served as major inspirations to revolutionaries in both America and France.
So here's some short idea, as they said in the videos, as you know, the rising of improvement, increasing the number of the writer, of the scientists toward the society, that the idea of the superstition has been reused it and replaced it by the social beneficial and social scientist experiment. So as in an age of reason, a lot of author has been raising the idea and quoted about the overall view of the Enlightenment period. As most of this, you know, talking about reasoning. For the first, like Rene Descartes said that common sense is the best distributed commodity in the world, for every man is convinced that she is well supplied with it. So he focusing on the common sense, you know, the perception, the idea, the thinking, analyzing, that you will use the kind of thing rather than the power, rather than superstition. And also the Thomas Hobbes, who is an idea like true and false are interpreted to speak, none of the thing in their way speak is not, there is neither truth nor a falsehood. So you're talking about the different kind of concept, true and false, in the speech. So when you know, when you're talking, when you're speaking, after you're thinking, you will identify that which one of the speak is true, which one of the speak is false. But if you don't speak, you would not identify the idea whether it is true or not. And some of the two ideas is also raising up about you know, the reasoning. So that's why you need to keep thinking, using the reason in terms of thinking, in terms of applying, in terms of analyzing, as I said it before. And that's all for my presentation. So here is some short of my reference. Thank you very much for your paying attention.